Hello everybody, how are you guys doing? We're here at Harmons grocery store. We're at the Traverse Mountain location. My name is Freika and I will be your chef today, or I will be your chef online. We are going to be showing you how to make herb and sun-dried tomato focaccia, and it's a beautiful bread. I love it. It's, you know, if you will be here, you will smell how beautiful it smells for the one that we just finished. Today we're gonna learn how to make bread, and we're gonna talk about all the steps of making bread. So the first thing of making bread is gather your ingredients. So I have all of our ingredients that we're gonna use here. And what we're going to do is we're going to combine all the ingredients together. It's very important in bread preparation to combine the ingredients. So we are gonna learn to combine them very well. The first thing you put in your mixer is going to be the liquid. Then we're going to grab and we're going to put our yeast. Just sprinkle in there. We gotta feed that yeast. We'll talk a little bit more about it in a minute. But we're putting in some sugar. And we're gonna put some oil that's gonna give you a nice elasticity and in the dough. And then we're going to mix that. It is an instant dry yeast, so it does not need to wait on you for 10 minutes. It's ready to go. That's the beauty of it. And then we have salt and we have flour. Anytime you find flour and salt on a recipe, you put those two together. Don't think about it, just mix it and then dump it in. So we are working with our mixer. Most friends have this type of mixers at home, and you usually put the liquid first, the flours on top. Then we put a paddle attachment. We're gonna bring it up. One. This happens in seconds. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We're gonna let it go for just a second longer, and it's ready. Our dough has formed. We are ready to knead. We're gonna up and down, move this out. These friendly tools are gonna help me remove the dough from the paddle. Look at how I'm doing. I'm just getting in there. Don't waste any little piece of dough as you're wasting the bread. Just get in there. Then what I do is I always have two, one on the flat, one on the rounded part. I go around and I'm going to sprinkle the flour. I have some flour here. I'm gonna sprinkle some flour there. And I'm gonna explain you why in just 1 second. I'm gonna roll it. Look, it looks very much floured around. I'm gonna put it back on the mixer, and I'm going to put the hook. Now it's time to knead. Speed 1, speed 2. At the beginning of the kneading, because you put that flour around the dough, you are helping the dough, the friction of the ball. It needs to have a friction. Imagine that you were right here doing this by hand. If you're doing that by hand, you will need a floured ball to work it in. But it's the same thing. I need a flour ball to do my kneading. Now the machine does all the job for me. I'm gonna put my timer here. Perfect, I have 7-minute timer. And as you make your dough, there is always things to remember. This is the kneading time. We're gonna imagine, I'm trying to explain you what bread is in long distance. So I want you for a second to put a bubble gum in your mouth. When you put a bubble gum in your mouth, can you make a bubble? Well, you can't. But after chewing for a little bit, nom, 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 if you chew it, then you can make that bubble. Now, the yeast is you. The yeast is the living organism that's gonna blow the air into the dough. The combination of water and flour make the gluten. Simple as that. The gluten needs to be kneaded, the bubble gum needs to be chewed. Perfect. So now the gluten is ready and it's gonna stretch. and the yeast is gonna be alive and it's gonna breathe. And it's gonna breathe the air into the dough. And the gluten is gonna contain that in it. So we're gonna let this happen. Also, always remember this. There is not an exact amount of flour in a recipe. I give you an amount, but it doesn't mean that it's an exact amount. You always have to play around with sprinkling, because depending on the hour of the day, you will need more or less flour in the dough, depending where you live as well. If you live sea level, or if you live in the mountains like us, found the mountains. Mountains are the best. All right, so we are going to put a little bit more flour here. That's what I sprinkle. My timer is on, but I want to move from here and explain you just something very, very important. So we have over here, you know, like you'll find them online. We're gonna take a picture of this and find it online. But I put you over here the steps on bread preparation. The steps on bread preparation are scaling and mixing. We just did both of them. After mixing, we're gonna have fermentation, punching, scaling, rounding, benching, makeup, proofing, baking, cooling, and storing your bread. All of those steps are important on bread preparation, because when followed, you can make any type of breads you like. This is not only for focaccia, but it's for all of the breads you want. Always try to find which step on the bread preparation you're in, because it is important if you're making a yeast roll that you are going to portion it. After portioning, you're gonna make every roll into a ball by rounding it. And then if by any chance you wanna make some knots, because you are being creative and you wanna just braid your bread, you have to bench it. So all those steps are named here. Find them on the picture, and when you're making bread, always analyze it, because it helps you. So over here, we only need 3 more minutes, and we are going to be waiting in just a second. I'm gonna show you what I have in the oven, because what I have in the oven is kind of like the end process. So you will be able to see what I'm doing. So it's gonna sound a timer, and my pan looks just like this. So all I'm gonna do, that's my first 10 minutes. I'm gonna rotate the pan, and I'm gonna cook it for 5 more minutes after that. You hear it? Oh my gosh, it smells so good. I'm dying to eat it, I'm so hungry. I'm always hungry. All right. A little bit more flour in there, but we're still waiting on those minutes. Ooh, this one looks so nice. Oh, I'm so much ready to cut that. But it's not the end of the video, guys. So this is almost ready. Needs 1 more minute, and it will be ready. And we have to check over here too and find out, how do we know if this dough is ready? So it's only like 2 minutes away, so I'm gonna stop it because I need to show you this. You have to test your dough by grabbing a little pinch of flour, putting a little pinch of flour there so that your hands don't stick into the dough, and then you're going to pinch it. That little pinch of dough that you grab, you're gonna drop it into your flour. This is the extra flour that you should always carry around. And then look what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stretch this. Oh, your fingers don't have to be sticky, because if not, you're gonna break it, force it to break. And now I'm gonna see how my gluten has developed. Oh, it looks good, but that minute that it's left in the clock will do it perfect. Whoop, there we go. Never pass the 2 on a KitchenAid. Never pass the 2, I learned the wrong way. So there is little tips I would like to tell you, because they're important. And one of them is, right after you open your package of yeast, put it in an airtight container, put it in the freezer. In that way, you make sure that it stays fresh. There is 2 types of yeast. We have this type of yeast, which is the active dry, and we have the active yeast, which is kind of like a pearl. If it looks like a pearl, please just use the same amount and Just wait 10 minutes before you add your flour in. But it works beautiful. Okay, are you guys ready? Woohoo, almost there. Just a second longer. I'm gonna add a little flour here. Just a second longer. Don't fall asleep, guys, because, well, you cannot fall asleep with bread. The yeast has something, it makes you happy. It does make me happy. All right, this is ready. Coming down. I'm gonna use the same idea. We're gonna knead this into a ball. Look at that, perfect. I'm gonna grab the dough, put it in there. These two containers can go. I'm gonna put them back here. Perfect. Look at this. Our dough, if I put this dough into the bowl, all of these pieces over here that look like open cracks, the air will go out. So what we need to do is we need to knead the dough into a ball. Make your hips move. 1 foot at front, 1 foot at back, and you're gonna balance. It's not about strength, it's about balance and motion. So we knead this into a ball. See my hand here, moves here, my hand here. I'm just following that line, making like a little dumpling, making sure that I move. There we go. All of the seams are here. I turn it around. I have a smooth top. There we go. So I have a smooth top. All my seams are down. I'm gonna grab my bowl, my oil. I'm gonna drizzle just a little bit. This over here, I'm putting this hand right over here. There we go. I sort of put some oil on top. I have my plastic wrap. And now it's time to proof. So the fermentation time. So fermentation time comes, it's about 1 hour, and you put it into a proofer drawer. You can use your oven, turn off with the light on. Maybe you have an awesome oven that has a proofing setting, and nevertheless, countertop, wait 1 hour, maybe 1 hour and 15 minutes if it's too cold in your kitchen. So we're gonna put this in the drawer. But voila, I have another one, not here, ready to go here. So this is after 1 hour. So let's check it out. After 1 hour, our dough has proof. We can put our hands on it. It has a bounciness to it. Perfect. This is the top. Always remember, you're gonna follow that top now. The top is gonna go to the bottom. I'm gonna bring it out very carefully. The step of punching down does not mean to punch it down. Don't punch it down. The moving is all you need for punching down. So my top goes to the bottom. My seams is what I'm watching. So I'm gonna open this in a circle, sort of like a pizza, okay? I'm gonna put this over here. And I'm gonna grab my onions that are right over there, because I need to put my onions in here. There we go. And, ooh, you see, it's the magic of TV, guys. We are going to put diced onions. They're diced very, very small. I'm putting just a little bit in the center, and I want you to follow me on this motion, because when you follow me on this motion, you're gonna see how I'm gonna grab this part, and I'm gonna fold it over. And then you have this, and I'm gonna fold it over. And then you have that, and I'm gonna fold it over. Here, fold it over, fold it over, fold it over, fold it over, fold it over. Then if you see, there we go. We are ready on the oven. We're gonna put this on hold, okay, guys? This is needs 5 more minutes of cooking. But for that, now it needs to go on the cheese. What happens if you put the cheese before? Well, it will burn. It will look ugly. So we're going to put the cheese. We are going to put the tomatoes. There we go. Oh my gosh. And then the very, very last 5 minutes of cooking. Owie, owie, hot, hot, hot. Okay. Last 5 minutes. Timer begins. And we can continue to show you this, all right? Sorry about that, guys, but we need to not let things burn in the oven. We're gonna put the second part of the onion and repeat that motion. Folding, 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 fold it over, fold it over, fold it over. Flatten it just a little bit. Make sure not to flatten it only on the center, because if you flatten it only on the center, you're gonna end up with a holy dough. There we go. There we go. One last little bit. If you have a little bit left over, don't worry. But you don't want to overwhelm the center of your dough, because you will make that hole happen. There we go. Then you see the seams are here now. I'm going to turn this around. My top again is on the top. And I'm going to grab my bowl. And I'm going to grab my flowers. You see, I'm a short person. I do things like this all the time. Look what I'm going to do. I cannot reach, so I do it like that. I'm going to put a little oil there. I'm going to put my hand has a little flour oil. I'm going to tap it. Perfect. And then I'm going to cover this up again, which I'm going to grab one of these ones over here, because we are going to uncover this in just a second, so we don't need to have it covered anymore. So, again, the dough goes to proof for a second time. This is sort of the benching time on this stage. The benching time goes into the proofer again. But of course, this is magic, correct? Voila! Yay! I love this. I have another one ready to go that has been proofing for approximately 30 minutes with all of the goodies and the onions in. Oh my goodness. Are you guys ready for this? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right. A little bit of oil, not a lot, because if you put a lot, it's not going to stretch so nicely. So we have to prevent that. I'm going to put that in here. And I'm going to put that in here so you don't get confused. And I'm going to grab this, the top of my dough, correct? We want to keep this time the top on the top. Put your hand underneath your dough. Put it there. Magic fingers. Oh, look at that. Stretch it with your hands. You don't need nothing else, just your hands. Oh, yum, yum, yum. You can make sandwiches with this type of bread. You can make just bread for dinner with this recipe. Hey, you can make a pizza. And guys, don't be afraid of trying recipes and not working, especially on bread, because anything you do on bread ends up on a pizza if it doesn't work. So don't worry about it. Just practice, get in there. You see, now that you have stretched this, I tell you in the recipe, stretch it. It's gonna feel a half sheet pan, but if the dough doesn't give, let it be. We are going to now cover this one up. Look at what we're gonna do. Magic again. This goes to rest for 15 minutes. 15 minutes, and it will look just like this, which you bring your fingers. I call this bring the cat, because the cat's gonna do the dimples. Dimple, dimple, dimple is walking all over your dough. Those dimples are gonna hold the oil while baking, making the bread more tasty and more yummy and so crunchy. We are going to drizzle this time the olive oil. Oh, look at that. And I'm gonna help myself with this, and I'm going to brush it, brush it, brush it, brush it, brush it. Very, very lightly, okay? Very lightly. We're gonna grab our herbs and you're gonna sprinkle them. You wait approximately 5 minutes and you bake it. If you're in a hurry, you can bake it right away, but it should be perfect, perfect. Oh my gosh, this looks good, guys. Look what we have here. So as soon as that comes out of the oven, this is a cooling rack. You're going to loose your bread from the pan. There we go. I'm gonna move this out because it doesn't help me at all. There we go. I need some bench scrapers. There we go. You see how that worked? I put that there. Perfect. I'm gonna put that there. Oh, we are making sure that this bread does not become soggy and wet on the bottom. As soon as it comes out of the oven, you drizzle it with the olive oil. Just be generous. At class, we call the Harmons garden because we love olive oil. And now, artisan salts. So I brought a pick. I have fleur de salt, I have lava salt, my favorite smoked salt, and then we have this red burgundy salt. It's super yummy. I'm going to sprinkle one of them, especially the smoky salt. I like the smoky salt, so everybody gets the smoky salt. And a little bit of the fleur de salt. Oh, perfect. And that's it. We are ready. This over here will go into the oven in about 5 minutes. I will put that into the oven. And all we need to do is, why do we wait 5 minutes? Well, we wait 5 minutes because it's gonna raise you just a little bit more. It's gonna be just a little taller, just a little taller. And why do I want it to be just a little taller? Well, paninis, one reason. My sandwiches, second reason. I wanted to be able to open that bread. And just because I want to show you, and we need to, well, probably, everything needs to come to an end, correct? We are going to put that into the oven because I'm not afraid. I have plenty bread here. But this has been so fun. This has been awesome. But, you know, I will be a mean person if I don't bite this in front of you. Or maybe I am being a mean person. I don't think I'm being a mean person. All right, let's do this. Oh, this looks good, guys. I'm gonna put these two that fell over. You see that, guys? I can split this bread open. It's been nice to have you in the kitchen, and thank you for having me in yours. And have a great day. See you later.